On this episode, I'm with Coach Culbertson from Longview Community College, and we talk JUCO, we talk mental side, and we talk about the KC Royals.
Hi, Baseball Nation. This is Spiker Helms, where I interview the best in the business, where I try to find out what got them to the top. This is their journey, their stories, and our questions. This is Tiger TV.
Ready?
Yep.
All right. Welcome to episode 7 of Tiger TV. I am your host, Spiker Helms, and we are interviewing the most successful people in baseball. That's coaches, players, industry leaders. Right now, next to me is Coach Clint Culbertson of Longview Community College. Thanks for coming on.
Good to see you again.
Yep. Coach Culbertson was actually my junior college coach, 2008 to 2009, right? 10. Yeah, 2010. In 2007, he led Longview to a national championship. He also was at University of Central Missouri, where he 4 years in a row that he went to the College World Series.
Yeah.
2003, they won the College World Series. Then he went to Arkansas Little Rock, was the pitching coach there. And he was a student assistant at Mizzou. So
yeah.
long lineage of past history. Is there anything that I haven't mentioned that you'd like to mention? And fill in the gaps.
No, that's good. You did a really good job. It's almost like you know me.
Yeah, no, the time that I've had here was just unbelievable. I mean, we had a good team. We didn't get to go to the national championship, but still memorable. I mean, you had some guys that were hitters, pitchers. I mean, one of the big things that you hear when you talk about Longview Community College is development. Like, how big and how passionate are you about development?
Well, it's first of all, I like to win. So if to get the guys that we need to win here, you have to develop them. You know, I don't think we've really ever had a guy where we just broke him out and he was already good and that was that. I mean, everybody's developed. Obviously, you came in with a little more talent than somebody else, but again, you had to work out some things and get better. So if we don't develop, we're not going to win. If we don't win, I'm not happy. So that's kind of the way it forces you to do it. But it is fun to see guys develop, to see what they're like as a freshman, and see what they're like as a sophomore. It'd be really cool to see them for all 4 years and get to enjoy all the benefits. But I'm glad we're able to help and at least get them started on the college track.
Is it more talent that you look for, or is it more of the mentality? Because it's weird because when I do these interviews, I don't know the coaches well, and I'm trying to do as much research as I possibly can before the interview. But for this one, I mean, there's not much because I know almost everything about you. But when I talk to coaches, it seems like mentality is the big thing. But even at junior college level, it has to be different.
Well, yeah. And again, we're a small staff. It's myself and an assistant. So we don't have, and we're always bringing in a lot of guys. I mean, it's a 2-year school. You're losing about half guys every year. You're bringing in at least 12 guys, if not more. So to be honest, we just don't have the time to do enough background information. If I know the high school coach, maybe I'll talk with them, and if they say, hey, he's bad news, or this kid's a really hard worker, or whatever, okay, I'll take that in mind. But we're really looking for tools that we can't teach. Arm strength, speed, hand strength, really good glove, things that we can't teach. And we feel if we bring in those talented individuals where they're weak in, or the areas that they need improvement on, that's where we can push them and make them that complete player, or more of a complete player. And if they have a strength, then we can make it even better. But again, it just really helps to have at least a tool, if not a couple tools, to work with to start off with.
And you've been at the Division I level, and you've been at the Division II level, and you're now at the junior college level, and you're very well connected with. I mean, you talk about Cohen down at Mississippi State. You have Brad Hill at K-State, and then you have the UCM staff. Like, what have you noticed is the difference between each level? Like, how do you guys play that out?
Really the biggest difference between, I feel the biggest difference between the levels is just, the amount of good players. Again, obviously, within the team that you were here, there was 2 Division I players. Well, 3 if you count Mercury. So there's 3 Division I players within that team.
And then we had a professional guy as well.
We had a professional guy as well. Very good point, too. So You just have more of those guys.
And that was not me. I just want to point that out. That was not me.
Yeah,
Lee stopped him, and he's still in the Cardinals organization, made it all the way up to AAA. So, and he was actually a Division II player. So that just shows you. Okay, so sorry, go ahead.
And I think that's the biggest difference, just the amount of talent. It's again, I always say the difference between the Division I and the Division II level is like that Central Missouri teams that we had back under Coach Hill. We could have played with some Division I's in a 1-game series, no problem. Take us over 10 games where we have to go through all of our staff. Yeah, probably the Division I teams are going to get you more than not because they just have a couple more arms here or there that make the difference. But each level has good players in it for sure, and obviously the 4-year schools you're dealing with kids that are men. They're starting to become men, so they're just a little more developed and a little more seasoned. So I always think that makes a big difference as well.
And what do you think with the junior college guys? Because the mentality is completely different. Because when I went from junior college, and I see this across the board, and I talk about this with the junior college guys, is that when you go to the 4-year, it's like you look at the 4-year guys, and you're just like, what? Well, you're complaining about that? Like, what, do you think it's just when they come in as freshmen, you kind of condition them as, all right, 6 a.m., we're going to work out. Tuesdays, Thursdays, expect a long day.
Yeah, it's hard to say where that mentality starts with, like what they're coming into. I don't know if in the recruiting process I brag that, hey, we're going to work you till you puke. It just sort of happens, and I think guys get conditioned. The one thing I always try to tell guys is there's a reason they're here. Obviously, they lack something. They weren't seen enough. They're not developed enough. And if they really want to get to that next level, whether the next college level or even a professional level for a few, they're going to have to work hard.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here to do. And if you don't like it, then we're not the school for you. And by and large, we just, better than anybody. Guys just start buying in, and the few that don't, they weed themselves out. You don't worry about them.
And when you go into that mentality mode, because like when you get into high school, you're aspiring to be a Division I athlete. Everyone wants to play at the University of Miami, Mizzou, SEC, ACC, but then in reality, like the percentages are against them. And then when I was going down this route, I looked at junior college and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to own it. I'm going to go in there and I'm just going to go and prove it. I just want to get better. I'm going to find that guy that wants to get me better. I'm just going to go there. So it
makes a lot of sense because it's more of a pride factor.
Yeah.
Again, if you're willing to swallow that, but where am I going to get the chance to play the most? Probably at a junior college.
Yeah.
What's the cheapest route for me? Probably junior college. There's a lot of things working in your favor going to a junior college, but for some people, there's an ego thing about it, and I didn't spend this much money to do this and travel here and do that to play junior college baseball, which is, there's some really good baseball junior college. There's some bad baseball too, but there's some good baseball
When you have Bryce Harper, you have Andron Simmons.
Yeah.
And you haven't seen Bryce Harper play at junior college, but you have seen Simmons. What did you think when you saw Simmons for the first time?
Holy crap! I'm like, who is this dude? I knew he was there because the scouts were calling and making sure game times and stuff. So, but when you see him out in the field during the in and out and see him take ground balls, it's just like he's a different dude.
Because you don't have that spectacular factor where you have big stadiums, like you're at just a random field, and then there's this guy that's there.
He's just a dude, man. It's just like, again, you saw too the back. He made a backhand play just look like ease. He was different. And what was funny, I don't know if you remember, but there were some pro scouts there, like, well, we don't know if he'll be able to hit. We're going to make it. I'm like, dude, if that guy can't make it to the big leagues, I don't know who else can.
I don't know who else.
I don't know anything. So.
I think he's probably the best player I've seen so far.
Yeah, he was phenomenal. And again, but I think that opens people's eyes. Like the Doolin kid that comes back, he'll work out with us.
Explain Doolin because they don't know.
He was a player. He's a local player. He went to a 4-year school to start out of high school. Parents wanted him out of the house, out of the community, but he came back after a year and he played with us. And after 1 year, he got drafted. To this date, the highest drafted player out of the MCC system. 12th round.
12th round
to the Royals. Local
guys.
Right. So in the off season, he comes back and he works out with us, and it's really good because he embraces the whole lineage and working with guys. gets along good with our players. But, you know, it allows our players to like, am I a pro guy or not? And then you see him hit and you're like, can you hit like that?
Yeah, yeah.
Probably,
no, like
probably not.
And I've talked to him. I talked to him at Alumni Weekend 2 years ago, and it just seemed like he has that Longview mentality, that rough, tumble, blue collar. I'm just going to go out there, have a chip on my shoulder. I'm just going to prove myself, and he's an impressive character.
Yeah, it is, because it's that rare combination, and he's got some juice, obviously, with his bat, but he runs pretty well too for a big guy. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, here he ran as high as 6'5", 760, which for a guy 6'3", 200, that's moving.
That's pretty good. And did he have any? I know we're getting off track. It's the dueling show, but did he have any universities looking at him, or was it
he was going to have to come back because of the 4-year transfer. He was going to have to come back no matter what to graduate. Yeah. And then obviously the draft couldn't pass that up. That's a pretty good round for a junior college guy to get drafted. And, local guy that helped too, but you're right. That whole mentality, it's hard to explain unless you've been here. It's just like, you know, out of all the years that I've coached here, there's just good dudes here. Yeah, it's hard to explain unless you've been here.
Yeah, I mean, and with junior college guys, it seems like junior college guys really stick together.
Yeah,
because it's just. You don't know what you've been through. Like, you have no idea what I've been through, but it's made me stronger. So it's good stuff. It's very good stuff. And so with a senior who's thinking about, he's on that edge, should I go junior college or should I go 4-year? What would you tell him? I mean, like right now,
Well, I mean, I think the first question you got to ask yourself is, 4-year wise, are the 4-year schools you're getting offered by the schools you really want to go to? Yeah. Now, again, I'll give you a good example. I don't think anyone, when they're first starting to play baseball and thinking college baseball, thinks Central Missouri. They're thinking, like you said, Missouri, Texas, big school. Yeah. Central Missouri is a very good school, as is Mo West. I mean, there's several, really in our area, the Division II programs that are around our area, as far as facilities go, they're pretty good. Yeah. They're pretty good. Yeah. So, again, getting back to that, if that's a school you really like, then I think you really got to consider that for you, especially as a positional player. Yeah. Because in 2 years, maybe they don't need your position now, and you've lost out on an opportunity to go to the school that you want. But if you're not getting those offers, if you're not getting offered by the schools, if you really do think you're a Division I player and you're not getting the Division I looks, then junior college gives you those 2 years to develop. And, you know, as you well know, again, anyone that's been through it already knows the difference between the freshman version of you and the sophomore, junior version of you, it's night and day.
Oh, it's completely
You look back at your freshman picture and you're like, who's that scrawny guy? and again, the development that you put on those 2 years is amazing, especially most American males. At that time, that's where you're really going to put on size and start to develop. And it's a big difference. Yeah. And in 2 years, like, again, Missouri State, no problem. First time Coach got and saw you, he was on you, and then, as they say, the rest is history. Yeah. But again, those 2 years of development, huge.
Yeah. If you could recommend a book to an athlete right now, or even a coach, what book do you like currently that you think would be best for someone to read?
Well, I mean, I'm a big Harvey Dorfman fan. The mental games of baseball, the mental hitting ABCs. He has 3 or 4 out there. A lot of the stuff that Brian Kane does, he's awesome. Another good. Really, the motivation, the psychology behind baseball, because it's such a mental sport. Yeah. You know, you fail so often, and I think once you have enough talent to play at a level, really what separates the guys that are successful, guys that aren't, isn't talent, it's the mental makeup and how they can handle pressures and situations and failures and everything that goes along with this game. So, and again, I think as a coach, if I had to pick a strength of myself, I think for the most part I do a decent job with the psychology part. Could I do better? Sure, I could. But if one of the things that I enjoy is trying to motivate guys and push them, and trying to figure out what buttons you need to push to make that player perform at his best level. So to me, anything that you can read on the mental side of the game, I think is helpful.
ABCs of hitting, ABCs of pitching.
Yeah, ABCs. He's just got the mental game of baseball, which kind of covers it all. Then there's the pitching ABCs, and then he has a hitting one too. Okay. All 3, I've read all 3, and all 3 are very good. And he actually has another one out where it's just for coaching. It's coaching excellence or something around there. And it's as a coach, how can you coach the mental part of it? So
Now, when you're jamming out and you're rocking out before a game, what music are you going to? What is your go-to?
Well, I don't know. It's a little hard for me, like before a game, because I'm worried about 10,000 things. But I like a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
I'm a big '90s alternative guy.
Yeah.
I am stuck in my generation now. I do find myself some old man moments where the music today, but '90s rap, '90s alternative. I like country.
Yeah.
Just anything, any good ballpark music, I'm good with, and I'm good with some of the new stuff too. But just some with a good beat.
Gotcha. And one other thing about Coach is he's a huge KC Royals fan.
Oh, yeah.
And now he can brag about it to me through text and all of that. So was it a good moment for you for the Royals taking
I'm not going to lie. I shed a little tear. It was, I tell a story that, when I first started watching baseball, the Royals were good. They won every year. And when they finished second, it was like I was pissed off. Like, how can we finish second?
Yeah.
And then you go through that stretch, and it makes you really appreciate winning when they do. It was a really cool time because my kids, my family were involved to see the city get behind a team like they did. I thought to myself, this is what St. Louis must feel like.
So you've done it as a coach, and now you've done it as a fan.
Yeah.
So everything about winning. But guys, that's Coach Culbertson, Longview Community College up in Kansas City. I really appreciate it, Coach. Thank you.
Anytime, buddy.
Yep.